Okay, so I'm going to do a quick recap of the duotone multi-channel system and setting up a zine generally, a beak-zine. So I'm going to make a new file here, A3. Okay, this is my recent documents, but you might want to go to print presets and look for A3 here. 297, 420, 300, that's the crucial resolution size. Pop my artboard onto landscape and create. So we've got a blank document. Okay, my rulers are on, but if your rulers aren't on, we'll press Command R, okay, and that will turn them on. Okay, so you notice actually if I'm doing anything, my commands should come up into the corner here. So that will tell you what I'm doing as well, so I won't have to say it each time. So my snap is on, and that should be on by default, and I'm going to drag a guide from the side into the middle, and it sort of snaps into place, and I'm going to do the same from top to bottom in the middle. This one here, it won't snap to a quarter, so we'll have to put this in. We can either drag it in by eye and go up to here, or measure this, or we can go to View, New Guide, and we want a vertical guide going from top to bottom, and it wants to be 105 millimeters in. Okay, and this one is 315, so new guide, and it always works in from the left hand edge, and 315 millimeters, although I think it's set to centimeters in here because I've got centimeters selected as my rulers. Okay, so there's my 4 guides, and I'm just going to use those as a rough place marker to put my images. So I'm going to do this next bit, and then I'm probably going to speed it up in the video, so let's just do that. So I'm going to click open. I've got all my zine images here, so I'm going to open them all together. So I'm pressing shift click on open, and that will open them all in separate layers. Okay, not separate layers, separate tabs. So if I can't find my original, which will probably be called untitled because I haven't saved it, I can go to here, and that will show me where it is. Yep, there it is. And sometimes you can drag things down from here and drag them across. Okay. And sometimes you might want to have a look in your view window and look at a range, and you can tile them all up. So let's say 6 up. Okay, and that will show all of my, not all of the tabs, but it will show the tabs. So I could just drag them into here. So there's, okay, I can close that one. Let's drag that one in. Has that selected it? No, it hasn't. Okay, that's fine. Let's close that one. So I'm just clicking in to select this layer and then dragging it. And that's that one. It's quite a big one. Click and drag. And we've got that one in there already. So we've got a few here that didn't make it into those 6 up. So let's consolidate those all to tabs. I think they're already there. And let's do this again. No, okay, that's odd. This will do it. So we're all going into this untitled one. So, and obviously you can open the tabs and click them or not, and copy and paste them. So I could say Command A for this, Command C. Actually, am I picking the right one? No, I'm not. I'm in this layer. This is a problem when you've got multiple windows open. Actually, it's difficult to tell. So select this window, Command A, should have these little marching ants around that. Command C for copy and pop into this window, and Command V for paste. Okay, so that's another way of doing it. There's loads of ways of doing things in Photoshop, and drag that across. So now this is my final image. This is obviously very big, and I can select these images individually because I've got auto select on here at the top. So as soon as I've got my mouse cursor over an image, it will select that layer. So let's select this one and pressing Command T. Okay, and I can't see the edges, so I'm going to zoom out a bit by pressing Command minus. And let's grab the corner, holding Shift down, and I'm going to roughly resize these. And I'm just going to get them, first of all, roughly all the same size. And I'm going to use these guides. They'll snap to the guides, the resizing. Okay, so these ones are a little bit small, and for the purposes of this zine, that's not really a problem. We're not super worried about the quality. I mean, we're obviously always worried about quality, but it's not the prime thing we have here. What we're looking for is something interesting and possibly a little bit grungy. Okay, I'm being quite quick here, and I think I said I was going to speed it up, but I can't be bothered. So you'll have to listen to me chuntering away. And even though this is a portrait image, sorry, a landscape image, I'm going to put it in a portrait orientation, and this one as well. I mean, obviously you're going to spend some time getting this looking nice, but I'm just going to use it as an example. So we've got some overlapping here, which we can get rid of if we want, and we've got some things not quite lining up or having a bit of a gap. Again, not a huge problem. I'm going to get rid of this one, so I'll select this image, go to my eraser tool. I'm going to pick block because then you can erase with a nice square edge, and I'm going to go here. And actually that's the thing about guidelines, is that sometimes when you've got a snap on, you erase a bit that you didn't want to. And eraser block tool is a bit strange because if you zoom in, okay, the block stays the same. With a brush, if you zoom in, the brush will get bigger and smaller, but if the block always stays in the same. So I'm going to zoom in a bit more, and then I should be able to get in closer. I'm going to just hold my Shift key down while I am erasing, and that will erase in a straight line. Okay, weird bit going on there. And there's a bit at the bottom. Just going to click, hold Shift, drag along. Let's go back, make sure I've got it all. And there's a little bit overlapping on this one, so let's select that with the move tool, or select it and select as well. Shift, drag it down. So I skipped over that a bit, that's a bit manky. Okay, I'm going to leave that because it's punk. So these top ones I'm going to rotate the other way, because otherwise when I fold these over, these are going to be upside down. So press Command T and move my cursor out to the side, and then I get this little semi-circle, not even a semi-quarter circle with two arrows. Press Shift again to constrain it, and it will snap to 90 degrees or 180 degrees. Let's do the same with this one. Command T. I could flip it. Okay, so I'll show you how to do that. So this one's actually okay, but let's say I'm going to rotate this one. So Command T, I can type in the number here, so I can put in 180 and that will spin around. Or I could do, if I wanted to mirror flip it, I could put in minus 100 here and that would mirror it. Okay, click OK to accept that. And that's fine. I'm going to flatten this whole thing, so I'm going to layer, flatten image. Okay, and these are all quite brightly coloured apart from these two images. And I'm going to change this to multi-channel mode, so that's where we can get the cool colour effects going on. So we're looking at printing in 3 colours. This has converted it to 2 colours. This has converted it into 3 colours. So I'm going to go to my channels and get rid of one of these channels. So let's just look and see which ones look good. Okay, red, orange. So if we take out the magenta, this is going to be cyan and yellow, which is going to give a green mix. So let's take out the magenta, see what that looks like. Quite nice. Take out the yellow, so we're going to get cyan and magenta, which is going to give a purpley overall tone. Okay, and I quite like that. I think it works quite well with the skin tones actually. So I'm going to select the yellow and delete it. Okay, so I've got 2 cyan and magenta. If I click in this space, double click, I can pick a new colour. So I can replace this colour by clicking on here. I can use a colour slider and pick a colour that way. And in fact, you can see what goes on in the image actually if I do that. Or I'm going to go to my colour libraries, and we had magenta originally, so let's pick a red and see what that does. That gives quite a different feel actually, which is quite nice. And that's a Pantone specific colour, so if we're using Pantone inks we would specify that, but we're going to use a Riso colour, and I don't think those colours are in the Photoshop library, so I'm just going to put red, and I'm going to change this cyan to a bit more of a dark blue. Double click that. It's quite a bright blue cyan, so I'm going to click that, go to my colour library, and let's try and find a blue that we like. Something like that. I think the Riso's got something quite similar to that actually. Okay, so that's blue. And these colours might come out differently on the printers. This is an indicator really of what it will look like. So could be quite cool. Now the Riso does not register perfectly like this, so it's always going to be slightly off, so I'm going to help it by just dragging one of these layers to the side slightly, and that's giving us that sort of that sort of almost 3D effect, as you imagine looking at it with 3D glasses. Let's move the red channel even more to the other side, and that's giving a nice sort of blue and red stripe thing going on in the middle, which I quite like. If I want to do anything in here, so I can paint in these channels as well, using just shades of grey really, black and white. So I've got black selected here. Okay. I'm going to take my brush, and if I'm in the red channel and I write in draw in black, I'm going to get a red brush. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'll make my brush quite solid and a bit smaller, and this is going to give me a bit more of a, again, a penny type feel, you know, like a marker pen. If I draw in black on my blue channel, I'm going to be getting this type of thing, obviously the solid colours. If I paint in white, I will be left with what's in the other channel. So there's not much in these channels. So this might be pretty white. So do the same in the red. You can see a little bit of the other stuff coming through. Okay, so if I paint white in, say, in this bit here, in the red channel, I'm going to be getting rid of all this red, and her face is going to appear more blue. So it's just going to have those blue tones, not going to have the purpley or any of the red stuff. Okay, so that's one way of making sort of someone's face stand out. And if I do in the blue here, I could make this, because I'm taking the blue away, I'm going to make this light seem quite red. It's getting a bit abstract really, you can't really see what it's going on. And I could be here all afternoon fiddling around with this, but this is fine. Okay, so what we're going to be printing out is a blue and a red sheet. Okay, but when we print them out, we're going to be printing them as black and white, and then we're going to scan those into the Riso. So go to here and split my channels, and that will give me two files, a blue and a red file. Okay, and I can save those, and if I file, save as red, okay, it's told me that's red already, which is fine, so I might as well save it in my zine images folder. Save it as TIFF. I'm going to embed the colour file, colour profile, which stops the grey from getting too dark. So save that, that's fine, and file, save as, and it's titled it there nicely for me. Doesn't have to be a TIFF, it can be a JPEG actually, so I'll change this one to a JPEG. Colour profile, I will click on save, and I always save JPEGs as maximum quality and baseline optimized, and you shouldn't get any too serious compression then. Okay, and that is your lot. We'll print those out, and then we can print this whole thing on the Riso, and you can see what it looks like.